Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Capstone Symposium presentation. My name is Eva Maria Burns, and the title of my poster is Trees, Yes Please, for Schools and the Development of Social and Environmental Interactions. As the years pass by, there's a growing rate and concern of young children spending less time outside and more time inside on technology. At such a young age, socio-emotional skills and development are key for creating a well-rounded child and adult. These are the skills that can help children to properly learn to express, recognize, and manage emotions, as well as form relationships. It is also really important for children to have connections to their local environment and natural surroundings, as it is essential in helping to maintain local ecosystems. Due to the increase in a lack of time spent outdoors, it is ultimately creating challenges with social development and environmental attitudes, and is sadly leading to nature deficit disorder. To face this growing divide between children and nature, we must find solutions like forest schools to help reduce these social and environmental gaps. That is why I asked the research question, how do forest schools and being in an outdoor environment help to positively aid students? I interned this summer at Fiddlehead Forest School, which is an outdoor preschool located in Seattle's Washington Park Arboretum. As a school, their mission is to foster a sense of wonder within each child and to provide them with room for possibilities, rather than constraining them to particular interests. During my internship, I created a 30-page Arboretum-focused field guide for the teachers and students at Fiddleheads. This field guide presented information on the many different areas in which the kids may venture to around the park. In each area, I described different flora and fauna, activities that could be done, and what hazards or risks there may be. Along with the field guide, I also conducted observations of 4 to 5 preschool students who were entirely new to Fiddleheads per summer section. Below, I included a representation of what my observational chart looked like. The top row displayed the subject, date, location of occurrence, and the 3 factors I chose to observe. Those being productive tensions, so how students faced positive conflict resolution, collaboration, how students worked with one another, interactions with nature, so how students connected to nature and their natural surroundings, as well as a notes section, which was a space for me to write a detailed description of what had happened. The rows below represented the individual subjects or students' data. When combining all of my data, I found that I had very positive results among all 3 of the main categories I observed. For productive tensions, I found the lack of constant guidance from teachers, as well as the freedom and flexibility to explore and experiment, provided students with space to gain their own sense of independence, which in turn helped each of them develop their own voices and emotions. An example of this was when playing in the mud kitchen, student H got sprayed with water and was upset. Rather than lashing out, H simply stood up, shook it off, and used his voice to state that, "I do not like that, but I'll be okay. It'll dry off," all without the assistance of an adult. Nature is also a very calming place, which can also help students to remain more level-headed, which prevents a lot of conflict in the first place. Another element worth mentioning was the use of tools such as the zones of regulation and the Montessori peace rows, which are practiced at Fiddleheads. These devices help students to recognize and use visual aids and items to express how they're feeling without the interference of a teacher. For collaboration, I found that small class sizes help to create a stronger community structure, which pushed children to create relationships with those around them. Many of the students within my classroom were new to Fiddleheads and had no relationships with their classmates at the start, but quickly so many relationships were formed. Limited supplies were also given to the children, yet many of the students wanted to work with the same objects. This forced students to work together while also sharing. An example of this was when students A and B both wanted to use the same net to capture bugs, but there was only one net. So they worked together to search and collect bugs. Lastly, for interactions with nature, at Fiddlehead, few artificial toys and goods were provided to students, which gets them to think outside the box and get creative with what's in nature. Some examples of this were students who used bark as paper, twigs as pens, and sap as glue. Also, seeing different flora and fauna in their local environment with their own eyes helped to strengthen the children's relationship and make them care about what was around them. An example of this was in class one day, an owl had flown into the classroom. The students were filled with excitement, and for the rest of the day, all they wanted to talk and learn about were owls and their habitats. Through my research, I realized that moving forward, it is incredibly important that there needs to be changes made to increase children's time in the outdoors. Ways in which we could work towards making these changes are incorporating nature exploration and outdoor education into the pre-existing core curriculum at schools, which could be through science projects, structured nature activities during outdoor time, nature walk, nature walks, or something along those lines. Teachers and even parents should also be trained on how to utilize the outdoors as a teaching and learning tool to benefit their children. Lastly, furthering research on the positive effects of outdoor and environmental education on children's development would also be incredibly useful for the years to come, as it has the potential to inspire change. That is the end of my presentation, but before you go, I just wanted to thank Julia Glassy, Jessica Thompson, the Fiddlehead staff, my fellow POE classmates, and my friends and family. Thank you all so much.